Hello and welcome to today's video. In this one, we'll be looking at the rune event called the Little Big Hustle. And today we'll be looking at all the important things that you'll want to know about, who can use these runes and on what items, how to earn the most runes possible, with some helpful tips at the end, including one that a lot of new players won't even know about yet. Now I have two big announcements that are both up in the air at the minute. It looks like I will be able to test out and review one of the newest sets, the Mercenary or the Raiders. So make sure you follow the link here to the community post or find it in the description. And place your vote on who you want to see me review, as I'll be basing my choice entirely on what you say. The other announcement is about the squad reviews. They are still coming, and unfortunately I did want them to be an additional video throughout the week, but because I've been behind on this idea for a while now, I may put this in place of a standard video until I can find the time to make this into an additional one throughout the week. In short, they are coming, so keep an eye out for when I make this video, as it might have you in it if you spoke in any of my previous videos with the requirements I've mentioned before. But for now, let's dive into this event. Firstly, I want to have a look at who these runes will be for and what items they can either be put on and what items will affect the runes' abilities. It does sound like quite a mouthful, but you'll see what I mean on the first one. And just to note, all these new runes will be used on artifacts. So looking at the event for anyone that's new, all the new runes will be at the top of each category, and the top of the confrontation tree will be this one here called the Rune of Insight. This rune can only be used on a mage, and the rune's ability will be affected by the mage's weapon type. Moving on to the massacre section, the new rune will be called the Rune of Valor. This rune can only be used on an archer, and again it can only be used on an artifact, and its abilities will be affected by the type of weapon the archer is holding, like the crossbow, pistols or bow, etc. And lastly, looking at the fun section, this rune is going to be called the Ruler Rampage. Like the others, as you might expect by now, this rune can only be used on a tank, including assassins, and again the abilities will be based on the type of weapon the fighter is holding. Now if I'm able to get all three of the newest runes, I will be making a video on this and showing you which rune is best on what weapon type. So make sure you do get subscribed if you want to see this in the future, as I do normally get all the runes, but I can't always guarantee this depending on my situation. For new players, let me help you out here. To earn each rune, you will need to do certain things, and to find out what you need to do, you can click here on each of the categories to find out what you need to do for that particular type. Again, I will have some tips at the end for everyone's benefit on how to earn the most runes possible. Talking about how to earn the most runes possible in this Little Big Hustle event, we have to look at the best ways of earning you cards. Now you might be wondering, why do you want to focus on certain parts of the game when the runes are in all three categories? Well, this will be covered properly in the tip section, but for now just try and remember this list I've mentioned here now, and it could be worth remembering this time in the video to come back to later if you wanted to hear my tips first and then understand why you should be playing this game roughly in this order. And this list will vary on what's available to you right now, as events will be unlocked at Throne Room 5, but some things will be unlocked at higher levels, so please put this in order of what's ready for you right now. Now for players who have played events before or have at least seen my video, will always know that djembes are the best ways in earning you cards. While the event is out, you should be looking to complete all of your free attempts and the 2 apple costing ones. And I will stress, if you do want to collect all of the runes in the game, you should also be looking to do the 100 diamond costing one as well. It may seem like a lot, but that's roughly 900 diamonds for the entire event, depending on when you see this video of course. Now they have added the auto battle feature to the djembe, and even though I've covered the issues in my previous video, it can still be worth using this if you either don't have a lot of time on your hands and you need to do other things at the same time, or if you are just feeling lazy and you would normally ignore the djembe, then use this feature instead. It doesn't matter if you only get to round 8 when your team fails, this will still be an improvement over doing nothing. Also remember to like this video if you're enjoying it so far, or at least finding this video useful, as I still have plenty more information to go through. The next best way in earning cards will be sending and accepting resources from friends. This is so simple and so easy to earn you cards this way that it shouldn't be ignored. Even if you are full on resources and you have a tendency to forget this step, then just do this the first time that you get on the game, as you won't be missing out on many apples, but missing out on a day's worth of cards will be quite punishing if you want to collect all the runes. Following on to the next step, we'll be doing your portal runs. Now I don't mean doing the whole portal or grinding out every single day. All you need to do is the levels with the chests on them, as this will earn you cards, but this will also depend on either your squad level or throne room level. I believe for me that I can't earn cards for any chest that's below level 50, so yours will vary too, but at least every chest above level 80 will earn you cards. The next best activities will be up to you on what you think is best, and that will be between the Cathedral, Lighthouse, Hustle Island and the Arena. For me, I would say the best out of the 4 options will be the Lighthouse. The reason this is above the others isn't because you can grind this out, it's because you will always have some easy people to fight every single time it's refreshed. So for the time this event is out, I would fight the 3 weakest people and then refresh the matchup, and keep to the same process, just fight the 3 weakest people and hit refresh. This isn't ideal for the Lighthouse rankings, but because the rune events are so important, it's going to be worth doing it this way just for now until the rune event is passed. Now between the Cathedral, Hustle Island and Arena, I would have to say this part is optional depending on what you're good at. So let's say it's all unlocked and you're able to do all 3 of them well, then I would have to say doing the Arena will be the best bet for you to do. You will only get cards for winning arena fights, so as long as more times than not you can win 4 out of the 5 fights, then I personally say to do this instead of the others. If however you wasn't able to do well in arenas, then for now I would just focus on doing your Cathedral first. But again, this will be only if you're happy to play on the normal difficulty, and the reason for this is because, in my experience, I'm able to rush through the levels by not reading what each blessing will do for my team and just randomly accepting whatever's there. This will vary for most people, but I find you can do this properly on the normal difficulty. So if you are someone who is determined to do this on the hard or nightmare and read through everything properly, this will take you much longer to do and actually make the Hustle Island the better choice for yourself. The Hustle Island is something that can be grinded, and it does earn you a nice amount of resources and items at the same time, but I find this drains your apples too quickly, so make sure to always do your portal levels first before they disappear, and then just circle back to this after you've done your gem base, as you should be spending your apples on there as well. Following on to the next best thing you should be doing, and that will be your PvPs. This is low on the list because, again, this does cost you apples and comes with some issues. You can do this and attack everyone that's available to you for a quick burst of cards, but once your trophies are high, you will need to spend those apples in getting them down again. You can do revenge attacks, but that won't be enough. You can leave your fighters out of your barracks, but again, that won't be enough if you attack everyone on your screen. So if you need to attack people to lose trophies, then this is going to be costing you apples that you need to be spending elsewhere. And this now makes the return of cards not the most efficient compared to the other methods. The best thing I can suggest is, if you don't have much time in your day, do a round of attacks on the people on your screen, but don't spend the resources in your castle, and make sure to leave no one in your barracks. That way more people will be interested in to attack you over other players, and you can't even lose to chefs because you won't have anyone in your barracks to fight them. Now dungeons will be last on the list as this depends on a few factors, and even then it's not worth your while. You will earn cards for defeating the main bosses, but if your teammates back out looking for boss dungeons, or your teammates are in arenas and slowing you down, it can make the dungeon a nightmare and very inefficient for your time, and even if you have a dedicated friend, the rewards just aren't as good as doing other things. Now these others should be done when the option is available to you, and that's including things like your invasions, as this is always going to be a quick and easy way to earn you cards on top of your everyday rewards, so make sure you're always doing this when you can. Other things like clan wars should be done too, and if your clan doesn't usually edit, then here's a little tip for yourself. If you know you're in the top 10 strongest players in your clan, then make sure you always deploy the very bottom of your waypoints, and if that spot is filled, then make sure you deploy in the very top one. This is a very basic setup, but without editing, this will still improve your chances by a lot of winning that waypoint. And if you know you're weaker than most people in your clan, then don't deploy in the top or bottom, because this is not only a pain to edit, but if they don't edit, then it's not going to actually help the situation. Just fill the middle parts of the waypoint, as this will help stronger people below you win the waypoint. On the next thing to talk about will be your daily quests. This again should be focused on every single day, as they are daily quests, and this will probably be the thing to look at the most, as if you complete all of your daily quests, then you've probably been playing a good variety of the game as well. Now one of the last 2 things to talk about will be defeating your personal boss. For people at a lower throne room level may find this easier to complete, but even attacking the boss can still earn you cards if you are able to take lives away from it. And unfortunately it did kick me off as I was able to defeat it, but if you wanted my advice on how to kill the personal boss yourself, then you can always check out my video at the end on how you can improve your chances. Now the last thing I wouldn't do, but you can earn cards for buying diamonds, but I wouldn't say to do this as I find this will be just a waste of your money. So that's everything covered on what you should be doing and in what order in my opinion, but please leave any comments if I did miss anything out or you think that something else should be above the rest. But moving on to the very important question, should you be paying for a pass now and even when it comes to future rune events? Now normally for most events, to get a good balance in rewards for spending money, we'll be purchasing the silver pass, or in this case the apprentice set. But when it comes to rune events, you can earn all of the runes without paying a single penny. Now, I know this because for the last 2 rune events, I haven't paid for anything. And yes, I did struggle, but I was still able to get all of the runes. Now, the Silver Pass or Apprentice set only gives you an extra 15 cards, which I can tell you is very little for this sort of event. And the Tailor set gives you an extra 60, which is better, but not for the £17 plus, which could be more in your area. If you're absolutely desperate to earn all of the runes above anything else, or you was planning on buying the Golden or Tailor Pass anyway, then consider buying the third option in diamonds from the market if yours comes with the first time purchase bonus. As for the same price, you could buy 150 cards instead of earning just 60. But again, I can't stress enough, you can earn all of the runes without paying as long as you can put a lot of time into the game, and yes, you do need to put a lot into it. So we still need to cover the tips, so let me tell you a few very important things that are going to help you massively in earning all the runes possible. But let's start off with the least important for rune events for future preparation. Firstly, it can be a good idea to lower your trophies by 200 when the event is close to starting. Not only will you find easier PvP fights, but you won't also have to get your trophies down after doing your run of attacks, because they'll already be at the same level that they would normally be at if you got them down to 200 before you started doing the attacks. Secondly, you could try and upgrade your seller to the highest possible level. With events like this, apples tend to go very quickly, so this will be especially important for anyone that's from level 11 as they have increased this level for many areas of the castle. The next will be before a rune event starts. You should have a djembe already completed but not yet accepted, and you should be doing this the day before the event is live. This way you can just accept the djembe and get the rewards straight off the bat with a good start, and have all of your djembe attempts refreshed as well at the same time. Now these next 2 tips are huge, and if you didn't know these then please make sure you do hit that like button to show me that they did help you. The one thing that Hustle Castle doesn't want to show you is how to do your advert trick. And what I mean by this is, it's a way of watching all of your adverts for the day in the space of about 15 or 20 minutes. What you will need is to have 2 devices, a phone, computer, laptop, or even 2 or both, it's up to you. And what we're going to do now is watch my old video from a previous event, as this explains exactly how you should be doing it. And this will also save me time in doing this video for you now. What you'll need to do is have 2 devices, like a phone and a computer, or in this case I'm using BlueStacks version 4 and 5 at the same time. To make things easier, I'm going to call the screen on my left device 1 and the screen on my right device 2. Now for anyone who has multiple devices, you know you already can't be on the game at the same time, but here's the clever bit. Normally you'll have to wait 2 hours before you get to watch the next advert again, but by doing this you'll be able to watch all of your daily adverts within about 15 to 20 minutes depending on how quick things are. Firstly, have the game open up on one device and watch that advert. As soon as you press to watch that advert, open up Hustle Castle on your second device. Don't press the X on the advert until you're on your second device and actually on the game. But once you are, you can press the X on the starting device and wait to be kicked off. After that, wait for your second device to receive the cards and then click to log back on your first device and repeat the process. This will take a few attempts to get right, but you can always follow what I've just done on screen and watch it again from the beginning if you're not sure. So the last thing to talk about today will be how you should open up your collections. And yes, this is very important, so please try and pay attention. The fun category is normally the hardest rune to earn, as there's nothing to completely grind over and over. And rune events actually have a very simple system in the background that no one really talks about, and this is to do with the total number of collections that you've already opened. You can also see this number on the rankings tab on the event screen. To earn all of the runes, you will need to earn anywhere between 250 and 310 collections. Now the last time I got my last rune on 303, and the event before that was around 298. So when it comes to you, yours will vary as well. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because even if you complete a category like the Massacre section, you should still be doing your djembes and other methods to increase your total number of collections. Because if you don't get this high enough, then you won't be earning everything you want. To do with the same tip, here's something else you should do. You should open up everything, including your fun categories, just before it says 2 days remaining. Then from here, don't open up any more of your fun categories if you have any runes remaining in it. Then from here, only open up the Confrontation and Massacre collections until you earn all of the runes in one of those categories. Now for example, let's say you earn all of your runes in the Confrontation first. For this example, you should now hold on to your Massacre and Fun collections until the very end of the event, and just keep on opening up your Confrontation collections to bump up your total rankings. Then at the end of the event, you should be left with only the Massacre and Fun collections to open. Now let's say you have 30 collections in the Massacre to open and 15 in the Fun. What you should do is open up 15 of the Massacre first and then go evenly between each 2 of them until one of them is complete. Then whichever one is completed, open up the rest of your collections in that category first and then open up the rest with the remaining rune or runes. This method will massively improve your chances of earning all the runes possible, and please leave any comments on this video when there's 3 days remaining if you get confused with anything I've just said here today in preparation of what you should do next with your collections. Anyways, thank you for watching this long video. I'd really appreciate a like if you did enjoy it, as it has taken me quite a while to do and taken me away from the event. And make sure to tell your friends about this if it's their first time doing rune events, or if they are also interested in the possible set review coming up in the near future. Anyways, here's my personal boss guide for anyone struggling with this, and make sure to leave your vote on what set you want to see me do next, and thank you for watching.